hour to drive to the scene of the accident. I didn't know what I was going to find there, but what the heck, I'd at least get a breath of fresh air and I could put the car in the expense account. It looked like I wasn't the only one who had that idea. Taking a nature walk, Tanya?
Sam, you startled me.
Trying to keep my mind on business, but I couldn't help but notice the lovely view. One word of advice, sweetheart. It's not smart to return to the scene of the crime.
I was hoping to find a reason for my husband being here last Friday night.
Like, what kind of reason?
I don't know. A clue of some kind.
I'd understand if you were here to cover up your tracks.
Are you saying I murdered my husband?
Nothing personal. I hate when they do. I stood there, Tanya's mascara dripping on my wingtips and me an hour from the nearest pot of coffee. Come on, Tanya, let's find a diner.
So why do you suspect me of murdering my husband?
I suspect everybody, baby. Here's a list of suspects I've put together so far.
Sam, your name's on this list.
Remember where I was last Friday night, Tanya. Therefore, I don't have an alibi. I've been tailing myself for the past 3 days.
That's sad.
What's sad?
You must be a very lonely man, Sam Spade.
You could fix that, Tanya.
What are you
Fix.
trying to tell me, Sam?
Do I have to spell it out?
Give it a shot.
Y-O-U-C-O-U.
There's a lot about me you don't know, Sam.
I know you're great looking and you dress nice.
But what if I did murder my husband? What would you think of me then?
I'd wait for you to get out of prison, baby. It's not like my social calendar's exactly packed. How long could a murder sentence be? 30, maybe 40 years? I'll get it. The classiest dame I ever met just walked out of my heart, but not out of my case. Next on the list was Otabi's office at the university. I was still a couple of blocks from the campus when I brushed by a big goon on the sidewalk. He had fists the size of babies. He dragged me into a darkened alley and pounded me into next year. As I lay there in a crumpled heap, I smiled to myself. I must be on the trail of something hot to rate a beating from this Neanderthal. I put my jaw back in place and pointed an accusing paw at my assailant. So, I suppose you have a message for me.
Yeah, I'm your landlord. You're 2 months late with a rent.
Right. I was still trying to figure out my landlord's involvement in this caper as I walked up the marble steps to the history building. Are you in charge around here?
Yes, I'm Professor O'Felix. How may I help you?
I'm Sam Spade, P.I.
Oh, nice wallet, Mr. P.I.
Yeah, I'd like to ask you a few questions about Professor Otabi.
Yes. What a shame. Poor fellow must have fallen asleep at the wheel. Such a waste. I really don't know how I can help you, but I'll be glad to answer any questions you have.
Nice guy. He led me to his office and poured us a cup of coffee. I would have preferred my own cup.
Now, what would you like to know, Mr. P.I.?
Call me Sam. Sam Spade. Was Otabi in any kind of trouble that you know of?
No trouble. Professor Otabi was a solid citizen. He was well respected by the faculty and his students. Besides, I don't know much about his personal life. Perhaps you should talk to his wife.
His wife? Yeah, I've talked to her. According to the time of death, you must have been one of the last people to see Professor Otabi alive. Any idea what he was doing up on Old Mountain Road last Friday night?
Yes, that much I do know. He was going to visit Monty O'Purr, a St. Maurice alum.
Why was he going there?
Monty's a big contributor to the university, especially to the history department. Professor Otabi called on her every Friday night to help her in any way he could. You see, she's a widow. It was Maudie's wish that no one know of his visits. She was a bit eccentric in that regard.
Of course. It all made sense now. Tabby, under the guise of visiting a benefactress to the university, was in fact having a clandestine affair with a wealthy widow. How old is Mario Kerr?
93.
Rats.
Mr. Spade, I didn't mean to insinuate anything by my statement. It's just that, on more than one occasion, Professor O'Tabby had to put a woman's feelings in perspective. You see, he was a handsome man and quite popular with the ladies.
So you don't think he ever gave in to temptation?
Oh, no, his only weakness was coffee. I rarely saw him without a cup of it in his hand.
Well, I think we all depend on a cup of joe every now and then. Thanks for the information, and no offense intended, but this is really lousy coffee.
Yes, I admit my coffee needs work, Stan. The lady that normally made our coffee left us recently. She made excellent coffee. She's going to be hard to replace. In fact, I've had to pick up her chores in addition to my own duties.
Work on that coffee.